What is good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts. And you know what? Even though the transfer window has ended, there's still quite a lot of news being dropped, some bombshells coming out of Tottenham over the last sort of day or so. We've had the Champions League squad released, which we are going to go through today, the 23-man list of players that will be eligible to play for Chelsea in the upcoming Champions League season. And of course, over the next 2 weeks, players are out on international duty. We've got quite a few Chelsea players out and some of them showing everybody else how it is done. We're going to cover that all in today's video, starting with the 23 list man, the squad of the players that are going to be able to compete in the Champions League for Chelsea this season. And there is a notable admission to this squad. More so, the biggest thing around the squad and, players that we could pick for this squad was this whole UEFA budget thing. And we'd have to recuperate money and get rid of players in order to add our new players into the squad. Now, pretty much all of the new players have been added to the team, bar one. And we are going to get into this now. So this is the list of all the players. Right, starting with the goalkeepers, as expected, Robert Sanchez and Philip Jorgensen are part of the list. Defenders, Mark Cucurella, you got Tosin, Badiashile, Colwill, Hatto, Chalobah, Reece James, Gusto and Wesley Fofana. Midfielders, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Jamie Gittins, Dario Sugo, Andre Santos and Moises Caicedo. And then our forwards being Pedro Neto, Liam Delap, João Pedro, Mark Yu, Estevao and Alejandro Garnacho. Couple of surprising things in there. One, Levi Colwill, he's injured. Why is he part of the list? Of course, there is a small chance that Levi Colwill could be back towards the latter end of the season, be injury-free, and if we do go far into the competition, which I and like most of the Chelsea fans are sort of feeling that we are going to get into the latter stages of this competition, we would want Levi Colwill part of the squad. We would want him to play in these games, so that's my theory as to why they've picked him for these games. As again, the quarter semis, they all happen later in the season. So it's 50-50. I'd be very surprised if he's back injury time and even match fit for these games. But I do understand why the club would take him. Romeo Lavia missing. So he is part of the B squad, which is at the moment Josh Atchempong, Tyreek George and Romeo Lavia. So there is the potential for him to come into the squad later down the line. But again, the theory behind why I think they haven't picked Romeo Lavia for this is injuries. He seems to be consistent with his injuries. He's not managing 4, 5, 6 games in a row without having to, miss 3, 4 weeks. I mean, he's been out for so long now. We don't even know when he's coming back. So I get why he's not made the A list, and they've gone with players that seem more injury-free, not as injury-prone as Romeo Lavia. And to be fair, with the likes of Dario Sugo and Andre Santos, because it would be one of those players that would miss off the list, those two have done well, and they seem to be growing with each performance. Obviously, Andre Santos played for Brazil last night, so it's going to be tough, I think, for Romeo Lavia to make his way back into the squad at the moment. But again, being on the B list, there is an opportunity to make the Champions League squad further down the line. One of the, I wouldn't say surprising admissions, because when you look at the squad and the forwards and the midfielders that we've taken, there's no one in there that you would go, oh, okay, he's a definite dropout and we replace it. But Buonanotte hasn't made the A list. He's not eligible for the B list, so he would miss out on the Champions League this season. Would be definitely gutting for the player. I know in his interview he came out saying, he's looking forward to competing in the Champions League. It's just one of those things. We do have quite a few players, but we've also got quite a lot of quality players. And in the midfield, even if you was to maybe add it into the forward line, there's no one there that I'm looking at that is immediate go, oh, I could drop him out and put Buonanotte in. So like I said, it's probably gutting for him. It's unfortunate for him, but looking at that, we've got the best squad, and this is the best list to take with us. And he's, he will support us in other competitions like the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and the Premier League going forward. Anyway, so he will get some minutes down the line. So yeah, that is the 23-man list squad that we have given to UEFA for the Champions League season. I'd love to know your thoughts on this one though. Do you think Buonanotte should have been part of this? Is there a player that you would have left off? Do you think maybe Josh Atchempong should have been on the late A list instead of Levi Colwill because of his injury? Love to get your thoughts below. Now, of course, for the next 2 weeks, it is international duty. So we are on an international break. England are playing tomorrow against Andorra. Some, as I mentioned, teams played yesterday in Brazil and Spain. Obviously, we have players in both of those teams. Mark Cucurella, I'm, considering putting him up as a striker at the moment. The amount of goals this guy's scoring from a left back position is unreal. He scored an absolute belter last night for Spain. And, we've had some really good goal scoring left backs over the year. Most recently, Ben Chilwell, who's just left to Strasbourg, Marcos Alonso. And Mark Cucurella is becoming one of those, goal scoring left backs. He's popped up with some really crucial goals over the last season, and he's still continuing that form. And the goal he scored last night against Spain, left side of the box, absolute rocket into the corner. It was an unreal goal. And yeah, I have to admit, man, it makes you question if he's a left back or not. He is doing really well. And, he seems to be continuing his form from last season through the Club World Cup. And through the start of this season, even on the international stage, he's been unreal. And to be fair, his goes even further back because he had a brilliant Euros as well last year. So, fair play to him. He just keeps getting better and better, and long may it continue because we're only going to reap the benefits of this one. And of course, last night, Brazil, they played. We had three players in Andre Santos, João Pedro, and Estevão Willian, who we are going to get on to in a little bit. But, all three players putting in a great performance. Brazil beating Chile 3-0 in the end. João Pedro looking sharp, continuing, linking up play well, looking good even on the international stage as well as domestically. Andre Santos, another good showing, didn't start but got onto the pitch later in the game. And then Estevão Willian. This kid, man. Another man of the match performance, another stellar performance from an 18-year-old doing it on the international stage and becoming the second youngest Brazilian to score in a competitive match. So not score in a match, a competitive match, only behind Pele. I mean, and how he scored a bicycle to top it off, to mark history for yourself. You go and score a bicycle on the goal line. I mean, come on, what are we doing? This kid, he looks like the real deal. He's getting better and better each game. He's definitely going to be a player that we are going to rely on in the future. He just looks like a star, man. And to continue it, not just in your domestic, form. He's playing well for Chelsea at the moment. He's had a really good game against West Ham, a really good game against Fulham. To go onto the international stage around these big name players from across the globe and do exactly the same and produce at exactly the same level, credit to the kid, man. At 18 years old to be doing this, it is incredible. And long may it continue. And I hope that we manage him correctly. Because as I mentioned, this kid is a star in the making. Now, on another Chelsea note, but Chelsea women, they kick off their Premier League season tonight. They're playing against Man City at home. So, good luck to them. They've also recently just signed Alicia Thompson from the United States, the young forward. She's looking like she's going to be a great addition to the squad. And hopefully, they can go and get that Champions League trophy that has been eluding them for quite a few seasons now. Again, domestically, absolutely tearing it up. Sonia Van Basten taking over from Emma Hayes last season and just continuing, just absolutely tearing up the league again. But, that Champions League, that's what they want. So hopefully they can go out and get it. So good luck to them this evening. I will be tuning in to see how they get on. And just to finish on, not Chelsea related, but as I mentioned, we've had some bombshell of a news that Daniel Levy has stepped down as Tottenham chairman. This is the latest from Fabrizio. Tottenham announced departure of executive chairman Daniel Levy. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is not something I saw coming, especially after winning the Europa League, splashing the cash. But there's definitely been some animosity between Spurs fans and Daniel Levy for a number of years, spanning on seasons, and it's continuing to get worse. He's made some questionable decisions, questionable managerial decisions, not backing managers that he did have. And, maybe it's reached a boiling point. It's very similar to how United fans are towards the Glazers and now potentially Ineos to carry on the way that they're going by scrapping food for the caretakers and the people that look after the club. It's definitely a strange position. I didn't see this coming. I don't know the ins and outs. Has he stepped down? Has he been forced out? But it's time. Daniel Levy has now stepped away from Tottenham Hotspurs, and this could spark a Tottenham resurgence. As I said, the biggest thing that the fans have had with Daniel Levy is the decisions he's made, and they feel that he's held the club back. Now, business wise, he's made them a powerhouse. I think they were valued at around 80 million when he took over, and I think in the 2000s, and now they're like 2.3 billion. So what he's done business sense is, dramatic, and basically changed Tottenham from what it was to what it is now. But he has made questionable decisions in terms of the footballing decisions, which is why they've never done anything of any significance up until last year, where they won the Europa League against Man United, which Spurs fans now see that as being the catalyst to go on and potentially do more with their club. But they need investment. They need to go out and get players. They need to get the best managers and back those managers. So it's going to be an interesting time for Spurs. It's going to be interesting from outside fans to see what could happen with Spurs now that the potential reasoning as to why they've not done as well as they should has now left, and it will now be replaced with somebody else. So yeah, it's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. Do I think it's going to make a dramatic difference to Spurs? No, but there could be some improvement in the squad going down, and maybe that is why the recruitment this window has changed a little bit. Yes, they've been hijacked by Arsenal, but they have recruited some good players, and it's not something normally that Spurs do. So be interesting to see how they go. I'd love to get your thoughts on if you think this, Daniel Levy stepping down is now going to maybe allow Spurs to go to that next level. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, guys, that is all from me. And if you are enjoying the content, please smash up the likes, subscribe if you are new. But for now, guys, take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.